Good evening. I have returneth after a 3-day break. I decided not to stream last night. I wasn't feeling good after I got back from the city, which, by the way, was really fun. I'm really glad I did that. So we got a couple things that have happened over the last few days that I would like to talk about at some point or another, but I think tonight we're just gonna jump right into this. It's so weird. It's like covering up the whole stream. Was it doing that before? Oh, whatever. I guess it will. Oh shit, no. There we go. Yeah, my dashboard on Twitch kind of like changed, so I'm not sure how that happened. They just like reset everything. Trying to like get OBS to look right. I want my screen to be as big as possible on OBS, so I'm getting the full experience, the full Ace Attorney experience. So, we started this game last week. We played through Case 1. It took me 5 hours to finish it, which is quite a long time. I'll try to keep the banter outside of progressing to a minimum this time so that we can make progress to this a little quicker. This game's gonna take forever, and honestly, I think that I might take a break after doing adventures before I do Resolve, and just do Resolve at a later point, treat it as a separate game. But right now, I took a vote today on Twitter, decided what I wanted to stream first, and this won out somehow. I was expecting Neo World Ends With You to like clean sweep it, but I ended up getting 15 votes, with almost half of them being for Great Ace Attorney. 40% for Neo, and then 13% for Melodies of Steel, which is unfortunate, but that is the most niche game on there. I did not expect that to get too many votes. That said, I will stream everything this week, and I'm going to be here this weekend, it turns out. So maybe I'll do like a long Ace Attorney stream, or just a long variety stream, try to get some stuff done. I think the goal right now is to do these 3 games, for the next 2 weeks, up until the 13th or 14th or 15th, whenever that weekend ends for me. And then the week of the 16th through 20th, I'm thinking of doing some other stuff, namely the next game in the Metroid marathon leading up to Dread. And also, coincidentally, one of the charity incentives that I had set. And I'll give you a hint: it's not the face cam incentive, and it's not playing Tribal Hunter, which also I want to do as well. I will finish Tribal Hunter before this month is over. As for Monster Hunter, I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Anyway, we're here. It's time to start episode 2 of The Great Ace Attorney. Last time we found out that, we figured out pretty quickly. British lady killed a professor at Ryunosuke's academy. We don't know why. She's not getting in trouble for it. She's being annexed out of the country. And now we've been asked to do some sort of favor that we don't know what it is. And we'll probably be finding out very soon in the adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band, which apparently takes place on a boat. Open it. Wait, what? Okay. Yeah, again, this game's weird. It starts with every case being opened already, and all the chapters being opened. I guess they kind of anticipate a lot of people in Japan already playing it and just coming back to it and being like, oh, I'll start my favorite chapter rather than replay the whole thing.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Interesting. 9th January, 6:37 a.m. On board the steamship Burya. Burya.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me.
Oh shit, we Professor Layton now.
It was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality.
No, really? The language didn't give that away?
This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait.
Shh. That won't be necessary.
I got those guys waited for him to give his speech before interrupting.
Now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. An in-cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Holmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
And it's Ryunosuke in there. Oh no. He's the culprit again. I don't want to be right, but I'm almost positive that's the case here. Ugh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait, I can't move. What the? Why am I in handcuffs? Humph. So you wake up now, Oh, it's the sailor. We have to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You found me then. Da, we found you, and now you pay. Criminal! How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, No, I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Mr. Sato? Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Ha! You pretend you do not know. You are a wolf in the sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. His body... Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs, surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please! No. No! Can't go louder than that, sorry. Kazuma. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. Thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. 50 days in here by himself? Jesus Christ, can you imagine that? Can you imagine staying in the same room for that long without going out and doing anything? Like, what kind of person do you have to be to live like that in any part of the world for an extended period of time while the outside is unsafe? Damn. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about time. It's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I could stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? You were supposed to be going on this adventure into England. Together! We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No! I'm not a murderer. I'm just cracking open this cold Arnold Palmer. You don't know him. He's not going to exist during our lifetimes, but he's a great man. Actually, theoretically, he could have existed during Ryunosuke's life if Ryunosuke lived to be like 100. Actually, no, it's stupid. It's still like the turn of the century here. He'd be 100 at like the 1900s, so whatever. No, he's not. Wait, he's what? He's like 23. He's 23 in this game, and this game takes place at the end of the 1800s. So, like, theoretically, he could be alive all the way up until like the 1970s, 1980s. Though I guess Phoenix wouldn't be alive yet by then. And I also guess it depends on how long how long Ryunosuke actually lives. Either way, it's doubtful they both ever lived at the same time. Duh, you said it before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but Murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Susato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you, too. Ugh, those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I could do is try to find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream? And these handcuffs, they think I did it. They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window. There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from the outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit could only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What exactly happened? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me! The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but, of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury, then? That's true, yes. Can anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please, whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning, he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, there was Kazuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard to believe for me, too. Trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes, I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want to do this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you could decide for yourself. London's at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then... Then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama is... He was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san. I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. Also, if for some reason I suddenly go offline, it's because PSE&G has been crapping the bed lately around here, and the last 2 days in a row there's been power outages for 10 minutes each. One during the Sunday evening, and then one today during the afternoon while I was working. And it sucks. I have to reset everything every time that happens, and I don't like it. So hopefully none of that. Last night. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is... I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I... fell asleep? Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yeah. I know it sounds unbelievable, really, I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Perhaps it's because someone's playing Fortnite. Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it! I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Also, if I do lose power and OBS shits itself, obviously it wouldn't have time to finalize the file, so it'll probably get corrupted. And I don't have the protection on that lets it, like, stop recording. I could always just download the VOD off Twitch and upload that. So hopefully no progress will be lost, no matter what. But more hopefully, there just won't be any power outages. But the trouble is, there's no one who could possibly have done this. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry, but Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around? My hands tied while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hi-ya! What the... That was a Susato takedown. A Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it? I keep peeking. There we go. Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You know what? I never did a sound test. Let me do that real quick, so I can get a consensus on how I sound. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Keep going. Talking. Oh fuck! I have my headphones in again. Damn it! Every time I need to do this check, it happens. Let me mark that out. Never did a sound test. Let me do that real quick, so I can get a consensus on how I sound. Oh wow! Actually, I could really tone down the microphone. I did not realize I'm that loud. Alright, this should sound a little better. It's not hitting the red. Oh, you know what? I could leave it a little higher than that. There we go. Alright. I'm just barely hitting the red when I talk. That's fine. I just don't want to hit all red, because that's peaking, then. You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. What evidence do I even have right now? Proof that I'm a student at the Imperial Yume University. I always wear it on the collar of my uniform pin. Oh, I can look at it. Ah, the symbol of Yume University. Every student wears this pin with pride. Mike, sounds good, don't worry. Okay. It's funny, but most emblems seem to either be round or rectangular. And good morning to you too, Crayon. I like this spike design, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Although, it does cause problems. Lots of students end up cutting their fingers on their badges. Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders. A sharp pin for a sharp mind, or something. My personal student number is engraved on the back here. If you lose your pin, they won't accept you as a Yume student at the university. You may not come in, they say. Of course, you can get a new pin made if you just tell them your number. I've actually lost mine twice already, but I still don't know my student number by heart. I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere, but then I forget not to forget that. His number is 901, which they established that last time during that mini thing. They said it's only the first 3 numbers because there's not that many students. Wait, Imperial? No, never mind. Oh, I see. The word Imperial is showing up because that's the subtitle. That's the symbol in the middle. That's one of the ways they localize this game. Unlike every other Ace Attorney game, they kept all the Japanese intact and just add subtitles when you scroll over them. Keep out. You could see the remnants of the glue that was used to stick over the wardrobe doors. Although it wasn't proper glue, of course. We didn't have any of that with us. So I pulverized some rice into a paste to use instead. But to a stowaway like me, every single grain of rice represents precious rations. That's why I spread it as thinly as I possibly could. Couldn't bear to waste any. Can't find anything out of place. Akeruna. I think that's not at the bottom. This is the paper seal I wrote for the wardrobe. I remember working really hard to make it somehow. But I'll never forget how Kazuma reacted. Do you expect the Russian crew to be able to read that? He said. Still, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it. So we used it anyway. And it worked. I don't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened the doors. Certified lawyer, my best friend. He was on his way to London for a study tour when he was taken from this world. A judicial assistant who's been traveling with Cosmo to London for a study tour. She's the epitome of a refined Japanese lady. She's only 16. Which is fine. I mean, Maya was 16 in the first Ace Attorney game. Mia, Maya, and Pearl are 10 years apart from each other. Mia was 26. Maya was 6. No, Maya was 16. And then when Pearl shows up in the second game, which is a year later, she's 7. And Maya at that point is 17. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Cosmo always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Ow. Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here, at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get back to work. Let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you, to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Okay, all that's done. Susato-san, about this. I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. But we don't have time to waste on anything else. We must find clues. She looks serious. Really quite deadly serious. Alright, that's the Ace Attorney way right there, presenting everything. I'm in handcuffs and under house arrest by the crew, not to mention Susato-san's constant glares. I think it's fair to say that I'm stuck in this cabin, for the time being at least. I should focus on investigating it here to see what I can find out. What I can find out? The books have fallen over on the shelf, look. They've all been toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as the whole shelf's been ransacked, and everything mown down at once. I wonder if... perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage? I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Shisato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? I'm sure you're careful to look all around using the blip and blip, aren't you? Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Oh, good, it actually check marks what you've checked. These books are provided for the entertainment of whoever's occupying the cabin, I suppose. And they must be well looked after. You mustn't damage any of the ship's property. But it wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are in a mess. Okay. I will say the cursor speed is a little, like, trying to just nudge it an inch. A little difficult. But I mean, you don't really need to be precise in this. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Burya. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? Rude. I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Okay, so some things have two things, some things only have one. Investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. When I went for help and the crewmen forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt, and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there'd be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt from the outside across a room. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of sturdy metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles up all and down my spine. Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. But it is not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking for investigation. The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime? Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Niet. Of course not. Now back to the corner of the room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there. He seemed a little flustered. Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can! I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on the ship? Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama? No, no, no! Yeah. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone. But I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate it at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean... Poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this very earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Walls is playing something on the Super Nintendo. I bet it's Jelly Boy. What do you think this is? Looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener with a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him. Would he? And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has sort of a brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It's the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Oh, it's the same thing. Okay, so what is this? Like, what is erased here? That triangle looks like an A that's been cut off. Wait. I feel like this has been tampered with, or that this is just a red herring. It's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away in this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes, I see it says "this way up" in Japanese. Which, in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to have read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear. Being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. It is Russian? How come she doesn't recognize it then, considering this is a Russian ship? This is where dear Kazuma-san would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. It's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, alright. I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Is that the announcement tube over there? Oh, they really cut out a lot of the bullshit. This is, yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you could pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. I'm very curious, is Lulz actually streaming? No, he's not. It is what it is. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in here when the seas get rougher or something. Yeah, perhaps it's so that the rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. What? Who's that? He wasn't here a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. And tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Cosmo's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Sasato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press A on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get the suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. I'll check this first, though. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. I think I've explored everything here. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point in my investigation. I can't remember what he sounded like in the cutscene. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings, I hope I haven't kept you long. Ah! What exactly were you doing on Cosmo's desk just now? Laser's locked. Taking aim. Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry, what do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course, my deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madame. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't see even one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution, too. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way I... Damn it. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. Ah, yes, of course. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary. Obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Investigation over. Let's all go home. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see? What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure how you could call it a deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, and observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you've introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the great detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Sholmes. So, it's really you? The actual Sherlock Sholmes? The very same, the inimitable, actual Sherlock Sholmes. Do you know this man, Sato-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? We must ask him what he's deduced. We must ask him what he's deduced. Deduced? What, the deuce? He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. He just called me a Russian spy, so no. Russian assassin, rather. Really, why do I feel uneasy about all of this? Mr. Sholmes, what do you make of this? Shh, quiet. When I'm ruminating in the course of my deductions, nothing must disturb my mind. Oh, so sorry. Ah, an Indian curry, perhaps. What's he ruminating about? The lunch menu? I've never seen anything like this. Most extraordinary writing. You said the same earlier this morning, I think. Indeed, but its uncommonness is so remarkable, I felt the need to say it anew. Yes, I do believe these characters may be a crude attempt at a Japanese script. What? Mr. Naruhodo, I don't like to be the one to tell you this, but I think Mr. Sholmes is trying to say that your handwriting is a little untidy. Is he making fun of me? One neat little, little localization thing here. And I think this is even true of the, well, I guess not, because the Japanese version will be all Japanese. You'll notice that when the Japanese characters speak amongst themselves, they use the Japanese honorifics. But when they're in the presence of anyone that speaks English, they use the English honorifics. Like Sasato just called Naruhodo Mr. Naruhodo, rather than Naruhodo-san, like she was before. I think it's kind of implied that when they're doing that, they're speaking in Japanese, and then whenever they're speaking with the English honorifics, they're speaking in English. Mostly because it's like really hard to get that across in all English text. Whereas it's kind of easy to get across English and Japanese text, because you can easily just use katakana. Meowdy, sour cream, how you doing? Great detective. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it? No, I have no her. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. I'm pretty sure the only other person in here is Crayon, who you met the last time you were here as well. But thank you. They are cool. Everyone in here is cool right now. Except Nightbot. Actually, no, Nightbot's cool now because he does his job when a spammer comes along. Wait, what did I miss here? You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Ranced Magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think that you really are a detective? Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer? Do you? Doesn't everyone? Hey, that doesn't mean you're not cool. No, I said you were cool. I said everyone in here is cool, and I'm pretty sure that the only other person in here is Crayon, who Sour Cream met last time they were here, when I was playing World Ends With You. Which will happen again later this week. I will be giving World Ends With You a very long stream, as well as Fuga. They'll both be getting long streams. In fact, I think I'm going to be doing multiple streams this week, because I'm going to be here this weekend. Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson! I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a very cursed royal crown. Really, I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of the muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from his data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can you look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only, Herlock Sholmes. The fact that I mispronounced it after he fixed the name, too, is just endearing of his character. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Almost said again. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Cosmo-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. and I concealed myself among the number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the Great Detective, Sherlock Holmes, was on board. And the handcuffs made him to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, 2 facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? 2 facts, you say? Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please, what 2 facts were apparent to you when you came upon the scene this morning? Ah, yes, but first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand, but what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes, what made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left behind by the victim on the floor. That's the Russian word for wardrobe. Oh, okay. I'm sure that's not actually what it says. I'm sure that's actually something else with smudges on it. It's Leon upside down! They're handcuffs. They should fit well, otherwise they won't work. It's crack. It gets you really high. It's great. If you haven't seen that, watch Mr. I've made that mistake twice today. Mr. Show lie detector test. That is a great clip. Do you really think Cosmo-san could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Cosmo was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderobe might be the name of the killer. It's mirrored? Ah. No, that doesn't make sense. It can't be mirrored. There's no letter that goes backwards from P. Unless, wait a minute, maybe it's upside down. Don't spoil it if you know what it is. I don't want to be spoiled here. Initially, I considered Garderobe to be the name of a killer. A certain Robert Gard, perhaps. Looked it up, it's actually what it says. No, I know it's actually what the word on the ground says. But I'm wondering if either it's a red herring left by the killer, or it was something else written, and then somehow it was changed to something else. Because that happens often in Ace Attorney. Where, like, a message is written, and then, like, part of it's erased, or part of it is changed later. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there, at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you are acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Are school uniforms the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. Stuff like that's usually written up upside down or mirrored. For example, Leon. Yeah, I just made that joke a second ago. That's what I said. I said it's Leon upside down. It's 11. What was it, like 11307? With a smudge between the 2 ones. And I had no idea detective could get something so wrong. I'm doing a lot of visual novels this year, between these and the Famicom Detective Club games, and also Winds of Change, which I only played an hour of. I really need to get back to that and find my voice roles in it, so I can actually post clips of them and be like, hey, look, here's proof that I'm in this game. Maybe the real Russian are the friends we made along the way. Wait. I need a drink, hold on. I took a photograph of the victim and the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes. Thank you. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. The Russian word for wardrobe in purple ink. It would appear to have been written in the victim's final moments. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all of that. Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Something in Russian, certainly, if that interests you. How many times I'm not Russian and I don't speak Russian? Can we talk about your deduction before? Things you concluded about me, I mean. The now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping you to discuss. You know the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part? Ah, yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads... Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma a Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-san wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you. Villain Bolshevik. We can't speak Russian. We are all Japanese only. The players and viewers can understand it, yeah. No. How can it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at the face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learnt to revolutionize your appearance as well. Ah, please. And, I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah, yes. The journalist clearly interviewed this man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds of the man is perpetrated thus far and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said he was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in this article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it, anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. This himbo, yeah. Sholmes is a himbo extreme. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that there is to interest me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. An article on the front page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back, cast your eyes over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt to just glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. A pair of you floundering around is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with the fearsome Russian revolutionary. We already know all this. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see this man's beard with their own eyes will never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome! Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. This is an interesting. It's one whole interesting. It's an interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Whoops, I accidentally opened Audacity. I don't know how I did that. Speaking of the Russians, they're spying us through Audacity, apparently. Though I'm using a very old version of Audacity, so I don't have to worry about it. And I have a better program anyway that I'm going to start using as soon as I take the time to learn it. Speaking of, I actually did an audition, like, right before I started the stream. There was an audition that was due at 11:59 p.m. And I submitted it at exactly 11:59 p.m. And then they made an announcement saying it was closed right after. I was like, oh, thank God. Holy hell did I cut it close there. That's why I ended up starting the stream a half hour late, because I was just like, I need to rest for a couple minutes here. Dressing up himbos in smart and nerdy clothing is my favorite cliche. It's like giving a princess outfit to a pug. It's both cute and dorky. Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, don't you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. I'm glad you've noticed this article. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear this woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Sato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. They're going to Finland because they're Russian to Finnish. I'm not going to even dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. The article about the ballerina... Okay, an article on the back page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, renowned yeah, disappears from... repeating stuff. Bonk. What? You were just investigating. Before we started talking, you were examining Cosmo's desk, weren't you? Cosmo. Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment to the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Oh, London Diary. Cosmo was keeping notes of the trip. Bonks the burb, thank you. Sorry. Hey, I'm not being horny. I'm not going to horny jail, at least. But... I don't think you should read this private writings. It could upset people. Tragic! and something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of this writing? Pray be precise as to the details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, Banzai, Mikado. Nado Nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with... I don't really have any commands. Exclamation Starlight used to do something for the charity stream, but I think I disabled it. Yep, doesn't work anymore. I deleted it. I will make a new one when the next charity stream comes along. Speaking of, I have not met any of my incentives for that yet. The 3 incentives were full Tribal Hunter playthrough, which I need to get back to. Terrible game stream, which I have decided on, and I will be doing a terrible game in the coming weeks. And face cam for some future streams, which I will be doing. There's going to be at least one stream with face cam this month, and several streams with face cam in the future as well. Anyway, but this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can write... I can't read the sentence. Hydrate. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about before then? Anyway, you hosted me, I need alert for that. I don't have, I do have alerts for hosts. I think, Twitch doesn't put host alerts out unless it's, like, 2 or more people. Oh, wait, maybe it's raids. I don't know. Also, my host list is gone. It used to be here, and now it's just, like, disappeared. Run ad breaks. I've never done that on stream. I've never bothered with adding ad breaks. Where is my auto host list anyway? There's like a way to add it to your widget, and I don't know where it is. How do you even like add a widget here? Oh, plus. Okay. Stream info? No, not edit stream info. I already have that there. Hosting me, there we go. Whoa, why is that over there? Okay, swap that. Shrink it the hell down. Yeah, I don't need it that big. Gone like the wind, yeah. Hey, you are hosting me. So is Lols. I thought Lols was streaming because he was playing something. Okay, there we go. I actually want to rename this main layout so it doesn't get deleted. I'm glad Twitch just has that stuff available. It makes it a lot easier to sort this stuff out. If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madame. Where did the voice go there? It just disappeared. The final entry here in Cosmo-san's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? Wait, is the thing from the intro really going to be the cause of death here? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice up there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Want to hear something cursed? Yeah, go right ahead. I'm always down for curses. My favorite kinds are the ones that turn people into animals. I love those kinds of curses. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Cosmo's diary has been entered into the court record. Oh, that was my neck. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Diary Cosmo was keeping of his trip on London. According to the last entry made before his death, he spied what appeared to be a speckled band. Do you have somewhere to go? Only Sans. God. Imagine, it's funny because, like, if you said that even 2 years ago, that joke wouldn't make any sense. It's weird to think that, like, that joke is very much a product of 2015 and 2020 specifically. If those 2 years hadn't happened, that phrase would make no sense at all. As it happens, the victim's writings in this diary have piqued my interest. Jojo pose. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Speaking of Jojo, we're getting Stone Ocean info on Sunday. Cannot wait. Oh my god, I'm so looking forward to Stone Ocean. Oh, I suppose if you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will soon become clear enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, you like that stuff too? Yep. Yep. No, I get ya. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. Sour Cream, have you seen the game Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap on all modern platforms? If you haven't, I have streamed it. I think you would like that game. You're the one I decided I was the culprit in the... You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. So what? Were you looking at my knees before? So what? Were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Wonder Boy. Can you just type it? Okay, hold on. Is my way of speaking really that hard to decipher? Oh man, that doesn't bode well for me. There you go. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? Hmm? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can... Ow. That's 4. After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprit to justice. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewmate standing there by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes, what can I do for you? What the fuck? What is he doing here? I recognize that face, but it can't be. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew on board this ship. Again? Also, how did they not see him for 15 days? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I could do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Herlock Sholmes, 34. Oh god, he's my age! There's not a person in this world who hasn't heard of this famous great detective. Not a person except me, apparently. Satoru Hosonaga, 29. A chief inspector in the Imperial Police Bureau who's on an undercover mission, posing as a member of the ship's crew. Inspector, can I show you this? What the? Is that the fabled Imperial Yume University pin badge? I'm not sure if it's really fabled exactly, but... So, you're a genuine student then? Sorry? Nothing like me with my regular schooling. You're something much greater. Is that what you were trying to say? Can I have my badge back, please? Ah, this is the paper seal that was stuck over the wardrobe doors this morning, isn't it? That's right. Try to stop the cabin steward opening it. That's right. To try to stop the cabin steward opening it up and discovering me. Wouldn't it have been better to write it in English if you didn't know Russian? Maybe, but Ofuda paper amulets like this are part of our culture, Inspector. And I thought if I made it look creepy enough, people would be too scared to want to look inside. It isn't easy being a stowaway, is it? Have you seen this photograph yet, Inspector? You ship Sherlock Holmes and Doctor Who, is that okay? I mean, there's so many interpretations of either of them that doesn't narrow it down at all to me. But hey, that's fine. You know? Look, if Sherlock Holmes needs a heart transplant, you've got someone with 2 of them. Or he's got someone with 2 of them. Oh dear, are you alright, Inspector? I don't know much about Doctor Who. I've never watched it. Yes, sorry. I'm fine. I was hoping to hide my upset with a fit of coughing and spluttering. I'm usually very good at it. But trying to stifle my feelings seems to have stifled my cough this time. It's all so sad. Asogi-san was such a promising young man. The Empire had such high hopes for him. I had such high hopes for him, even though I'm just a detective. We're all going to miss you, Kazuma. Can I show you this newspaper, Inspector? I'm sorry, but I can't read Russian very well. Oh no, that's alright. I know what it says. So you just wanted to point out your university level in linguistic talents, is that it? Sorry? Nothing like me with my regular schooling. You're something much greater. Is that what you were trying to say? Sorry, forget I mentioned it. It's gonna get the same reaction here. Yep. Look, you do you. You could ship whoever you want and imagine them in any weird sexual situation you want. Trust me, I know all about that, except I don't usually ship. It's just, weird set. You know what? Never mind. Forget I said anything. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-san wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. But what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins the next door cabin. That's right. So if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what that speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave the cabin at last. Move. Alright, let's see what we can find out. I didn't even talk to him, I think. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Jigoku who It was Minister of Justice Jigoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even have been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off of him the entire time we've been on board. From morning until night. Every day. But I never imagined it would happen here inside his own cabin. Not here on the first-class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I could do to help now, just say the word. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. Okay, we've already done this. Yeah, it's really weird, like... Huh. Like, we've seen this already. Would this dialogue have appeared... Would this dialogue have appeared if, I hadn't shown that? Or I had said this first? Oh, maybe he would have said something different and it would have been locked or something. But why can't I skip this? Nope. What am I doing? Cosmo-san's quarters. Cabin on the SS Burya, in the scene of the crime. Cosmo's occupying this cabin for the voyage to Britain along with me as a stowaway. First and foremost, we must get out of the cabin. This passageway that connects the first-class cabins on the SS Burya. Burya. Whew. Finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. How did he go to the bathroom? There's no bathroom in those cabins. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Cosmo-sama was being sent on this study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? Must be awful. Oh, look over there. Sorry, one second. Think about cracking open a Slim Jim. Like, I'm kind of hungry enough for it, but I also don't want to eat while I'm playing this game. This game's nothing but reading. There's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he's sitting down. The door next door to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose. Like people in handcuffs. Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd used to be used to this ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Cosmo's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. Must have been a very trying time for you. Please don't give me that pitying look. How did you go to the bathroom? Is there a toilet in the cabin? That's a huge book on top of the table there. And there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. Thought he might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is really much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. This looks like a plan of the SS Buria. It shows each deck. Look. The Buria is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. I feel like they would already know that's not the case at this point. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? Yes, round. Round things are very pleasing. That's the emergency alarm. It's best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says, press only in times of emergency. Looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship, and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I have to see. What are you doing, Naruhodo-san? You mustn't touch it. But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop. The ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin, it's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry? Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. You know, if I was there, I'd immediately press it. Yeah, and you get arrested. My own cabin and steerage is number 539, by the way. 500 and... how many cabins are there? Why is there a mouse trap here? Ah, a trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what it's called. Cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder if that's what it tastes... I wonder what it tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. The trap will snap shut in your fingers. Really? But... I suppose you're right. Plenty of time to eat cheese when you get to Great Britain. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. You sound like a kid, sour cream. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Gee, thanks. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Boop the alarm! Alarm booped. Maybe whoever's in the cabin could solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Whoa, buddy. Oh, that's the guy who sounds like the heavy. Oh, excuse me. We, need to get inside this cabin here. The sailor's eyes speak volumes. They're clearly saying, keep out. That's what I wrote on the sign we put over the wardrobe doors. Although this man's version is definitely more effective. Look, his midriff is showing. Doesn't look like he's going to let us pass. That's a problem. You like her kimono? I have a kimono. I haven't worn it in a very long time, though. Actually, again, it's not actually... I've mentioned this before. It's not a kimono, it's a juban, which is like the underwear you wear underneath it. But it looks like a kimono. It's like another kimono. I need to get like a real kimono at some point. It is male. It is a male Juban as well. I don't think there are female Jubans. I'm not sure. Not that I'd have any problem wearing a female kimono. I was actually talking today to my girlfriend about how much I'd love to wear Aerith's dress from the from FF7 Remake. I love that outfit. I would love to wear that at some point. That's the way to the second-class area of the ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started it with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Excuse me, but can I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer! That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you. But could I perhaps ask something of you? Kimono is mostly for female. Yukatas could be for male and female. Wait. Am I thinking... No. No. There are male Maybe it isn't kimono. Oh, fuck. Maybe it is yukata I'm thinking of. Oh, man. Maybe I'm getting the terms mixed up. Whatever. I don't have either. I have a Juban. Who cares? You little third-class lady's maid! Oh. We seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I'm not a sailor. My mother gave me a name. I am senior crewman, Biff Stroganoff. Beef. Oh, it's Biff. Beef. Whew, the best thing is to just avoid eye contact, I think. Mr. Stroganov, about this first-class cabin area. You know you are in the finest part of Burya steamship, for very important persons. Oh no, that's gonna kill me. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I'm always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganov is not animal. Thank you. If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied? Da. Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes, or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there is somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganov? Duh, all time. So criminals like you cannot come in, or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad about student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Niet! Susato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly, no. I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all. And yet you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in some way? Uh-oh, that look. I said no! Sorry! I'm not so sure. Could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Roylott. He was a very important Western gentleman. No, Grimsby. Sorry, not Grimsby. A Western gentleman? Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with the murder of student boy. How can you be so sure of that? Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Heavy weapons gear. In the cutscene at the beginning, this character straight up had the Heavy's voice. I don't know if it's the same voice actor, but damn, he was convincing. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Cosmo's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone in there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Is that right? That is not your business. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. From my channel to Discord? No, I hope that's okay. I mean, that's fine. Where? Which Discord? Bulkhead to second-class areas staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or as English say, when the pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. That noise when you move, not the blip, but the other noise, like the sound of it, like kind of making like the little clippy cloppy noise. That's the same exact sound effect from Monster Hunter. Okay, I mean, we investigated everything here except this. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours, the one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-san wrote that he saw it. Yeah, we... No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one to help us with our inquiries. Excuse me. Oof. That was weird. I heard myself clicking for a second. I don't know what that was about. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I looked at my friend's Discord servers and one of them changed it to a really weird looking me. And I'm just fucking... Oh, I'm dying. It's good. It's good. Right, the people in those channels are cool people. Well, I mean, what channels specifically? Are they servers that I've been in? That I might know? Okay, whatever. Resuming. Wait, actually, let me take a sip before I do that. This game kills my throat. And I had to do auditions before this. How annoying. Is it Herlock in there? Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. Scream? Okay, scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. Oh, it's Sholmes. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes? I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can clearly see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you! Now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimesby Roylott, I believe. Yes, that's me. And you are? I am the one and only the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt? No. I'm a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So might I be so bold to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid. How can anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, the case just shook. Leave, now, otherwise, I'll call the steward. So this is Cosmo's neighbor, Mr. Grimesby Roylott. There's no doubt about it, this strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Sholmes, what the fuck are you doing? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call upon my great powers of detection into service. Oh! And it would seem the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually. You're spot on, for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host is in this cabin. Mr. Roylott is clearly trying to hide something. Oh no. I think that Himbo Cell and the creepy Russian guy are the same person. Hold on a second. I think I accidentally went to the next thing without observing. Oh god, the autosave was 8 minutes ago. Not worth it. They seem kind of sus. Yes, they do. Russian sus. They're sussin'. They're sushin'. And do you know what the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret is? Why? The truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when he hears the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Was 100% expecting him to say vodka. Oh, yes, please. Yes, Daddy, please. Well then, what are you about to see may well astound you. For I'm about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time, it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? Wow, that is kind of jingoist right there. I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes. I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially in the first meeting, but once I read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh! I must have complete silence! What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you are about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Beef Stroganoff. A real wall of a man, a senior member of the Russian crew is in charge of security around the first-class cabins. Grimesby Roylott, an older Russian gentleman traveling on the ship. He's staying in the first-class cabin next to Cosmo's. Huh. And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervousness, tension, as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not? Oh, Naruhodo-san. I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction? Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What an inevitable twaddle. Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the color is drained from Mr. Roylott's face. It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could you? How could I possibly know such things, you wish to say? The most heinous crime, putting milk before cereal. I know people who do that, and I wonder how they do that. Very well then, I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So do I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Old man's identity. Conclusion. Oh. So the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott. Obviously, what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away your copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. It's pretty easy. First you put the cereal, then the milk, and summon a demon. Wait. The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front page article. Which, it would appear, you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity. Is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You're the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. A revolutionary on the run. Wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. Ah. And I assure you, your eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. You like putting the milk before the cereal? It's no problem. Honestly, when I'm having multiple bowls of cereal in a row, sometimes I'll gauge how much milk is left, and then just try to put the cereal in to fill that amount. So in a way, yes, I do kind of put milk sometimes in before the cereal. But in a very roundabout way that's very representative of who I am as a person, unfortunately. Sorry. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps, one slight enough to fit therein. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil? I don't know how to pronounce that. Betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another, most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeting revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Kidnapping of a young ballerina. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of the Russian enigma, Elemensky. Susato-san. That wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here for a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's this newspaper article. I think we've had the same discussion before, but These two men look nothing like each other. Oh yes, I recall a discussion earlier, then at the time I believe I told you. The man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look a lot more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. You're back? I didn't know you were gone. At first, the case would appear to be too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child into that case, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out of the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness to their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. Ugh, this whole thing is turning into a circus. Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seems a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Mrs. Sato. It's just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. Oh god, he clicked one of those read this to know how you look 18 while you're 59 heads. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Wait, what? One or two keywords, okay. Switch some keywords in his deductions. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. I've embraced looking like an old man. I'm 34, and I have the beard that makes me look like I'm 40. I like it. I look looking like a father. Like a dadly figure, as some people would say. Sorry, I'm picking gamer gunk out of this stupid controller. My Joy-Cons have drift again, and I'm pissed. I thought I fixed it, and they came back after a while. Damn. Yeah, I do. I do have a dad face and a dad bod. You're absolutely correct there. There's nothing. There's no voice acting to be done with that. It's just the truth. I very much have a dad bod. Ah, and you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? Ah, where are your handcuffs? Huh? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. So that's why you're feeling dad vibes from me? Yeah. I'm an 80s kid. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. No, that'll be Dr. Strange. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. So the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott. Obviously, what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. Doesn't quite sit right with me, though. It doesn't seem to be sitting quite right with Mr. Roylott, either. Which means, I suppose that the deduction is wrong. Let's try to switch a keyword here, Naruhodo-san, and see if that helps. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. Probably some viral video of a barber that uses those kinds of shears. I use a very small pair of clippers to trim sometimes. Michael Mouse is technically a first... You mean Mickey Mouse. Also, Michael is spelled with the A and the A before the E. I get annoyed because people do that to my name sometimes, and I'm like, it's not Michael, it's Michael. I don't think anyone has the E before the A. Also, yes, Mickey Mouse is Walt Disney's persona. Indeed. I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on. Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruhodo-san. Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylott really going to use those enormous shears for? Are you looking at the buttons on his coat? Could it be that Mr. Roylott was planning to cut these off? Oh, why? Well, when you're wearing thick gloves, it can be very hard to undo buttons. Then couldn't you just take off your gloves first? Aha! So he was going to use the scissors to cut off his gloves, then. Meaning they believe that half of Disney's are furries. I mean, yeah, it's possible. I know Joaquin Baldwin, who worked on Zootopia, is very involved in the furry fandom. Aha! So he's going to use those scissors to cut off his gloves, then. I want you to take a deep breath and look at this from a fresh perspective, Naruhodo-san. Oops. I think she's angry. It is a very full beard, isn't it? Yes, although according to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott was about to cut it off. I still think that he looks nothing like the man pictured in the newspaper article, though. The apparently merciless revolutionary villain Bolshevik. So if he wasn't going to cut off his beard, presumably he was going to cut something else. Yes, we need to look at this from a fresh perspective, and try to work out what. It's a very thick hat, isn't it? Ah, that's the secret you see, Naruhodo-san, don't you know? Secret? What? Well, before we left Japan, I took some time to study various foreign countries. Russia's a land of unimaginable cold, and a thick hat is the secret to keeping warm. Without one, I read that your brain would freeze. That was just one of many fascinating snippets of information in Oh Mother, not Russia. I think maybe you picked the wrong book there. Oh, there we go. It's we got full three-dimensional movement here. Oh god, it's inverted. I don't like that. Oh, Mother Russia, thick thighs. Very good. Very good. Oh, I don't like this. The left and right don't work the way I want it to, and you can't. I don't think you could fix that. What the? What's this? It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. No. The color is not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylott's head? And how is it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here.
Yes!
You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all. You're a woman, and judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one's still very much in her youth. Oh no. If only I'd managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea the old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise, Naruhodo-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts with Mr. Sholmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business, not strictly... Yes, I understand. Now say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's not true. That's not true. No, that's true. Given that Mr. Roylott is actually a woman. Mr. Sholmes is Edgeworth, but it's more sillier. You love it. Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole is taken a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like this recently. Alright, I'll do my best.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina, Miss Nikolina Pavlova. You ship it. Well, that looks like what's-her-name's earring from Dual Destinies, Athena's. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Solved. Now, as for my second conclusion... You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova, taken unawares, will have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies within where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes, so clearly she can't be inside the case as well. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the Great Detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. She's hiding well, there's something moving in that case, we know that. Wow, look at this dazzling tiara. I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh, Naruhodo-san, try it on. What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on? I'd try it on. Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently. Wastepaper basket? Let's have a little look inside. Naruhodo-san, it's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. That's saying the dear protag is fabulous. He totally is, but still. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novovich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it is an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you've committed is theft. Oh no! Yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you. No! I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me. This girl's only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. You want to adopt a 15-year-old? Alright, I will tell you everything. There is no point to hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wished for it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I've ever laid eyes on them. Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case, written in the books on the shelf. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. Maybe Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this? Just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still, Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. And there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. And it must be somewhere in the same area, if that's what her gaze was involuntarily drawn. If that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn. I agree, that's the only answer. Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of that bookcase. This is a charming little picture, isn't it? What is it? Someone climbing a steep mountainside? Or descending one, it seems to me. When you've been on flat sea for a while, maybe you start seeing hills and mountains and everything. It's a metal door, the same as in Cosmo's cabin. Yes, and the rather slim bolt is the same as well. Well, if Miss Pavlova was glancing over at the door here instead of her bookcase, that would suggest a desire to run away from this cabin. Maybe. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Burya. No pets and no, Yeah, passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. There was exactly the same notice in our cabin, too. I wonder what happens if you break the rules. Oh dear, I'm sure the punishment would be severe, Naruhodo-san. You'd probably be left adrift in the freezing cold ocean. Or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end. So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I? Yeah, it's obvious there's an animal in there. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous items would move of its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova, inside your traveling case. Is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet. Ugh. I can't do a female ugh. Possession of a prohibited animal. Solved. Deduction complete. Elementary. So, clearly, you aren't who you said you were. No, I am not Grimsby Roylat. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet's company performances in order to escape your homeland. I can't see the word abscond without thinking of Homestuck. Young ballerina who's fled her homeland of Russia to escape the Novovich Ballet. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Which couldn't have been easy. The Burya is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you, why didn't you just put it under the coat and have the wig go over it? So if it was just you, about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man? I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair off as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand, and at that precise moment, we walked in through the unknowingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that, from time to time. Are these two even talking about the same thing? So what did they do that terrified her? No, she just saw herself in the article. There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You are right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. No, like, why did she escape? Oh, I don't know. She just wanted to run away from her homeland, I guess. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, alright. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't it something, Mr. Sholmes' great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. We just saved. But at least Miss Pavlova agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Oh, one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrists. My... Ah, your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. Ah, when and why? There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was. Let me see. Don't touch! Huh? I will tell you what I know about last night, but please, you must not touch my things. How do you say? Forbid it. Oh, sorry. As well as you should be, young man. What vulgar manners you have. Poking around in a young lady's private belongings? Neither shall I allow it. Hypocrite. Oh, look, everything I observed during the previous thing is already checked. Oh no, I think she's just getting pissy because I'm touching anything. Oh yeah, I can't examine anything. Oh wow, I missed it. I may have missed an accolade because of that. Because there's an accolade for checking stuff. There's multiples. Let me see. I'm gonna take a breather for a couple minutes. I mean, I'm almost done streaming anyway. I'm probably only going for like another 15 minutes. I want to see if I'm gonna have to come back to this. Gotta admit, the loading time's pretty decent. So what's the pet? That's a good question. Defense debut for completion of episode 1 of the... Oh, I didn't even do that. Episode 3, 4, 5, yeah. Resolve and Resolve. Okay, so that's the second game. Episode 5 Adventures. Okay, so none of this is relevant until the next thing. Can't play in the outfits till the second game. Watched episode 1 already. Doesn't come up till episode 4. I don't know what that is. For having examined the bed in episode 2 of Great Ace Attorney Adventures. I didn't even get a chance to do that yet. I tried and it doesn't work. There's 2 over here that just are question marks. One's the katana, which is Cosmo's, and another has characters I don't know. What's the pet? If I had to guess, a snake, given what we know so far about this case. It'd be fun if it was a burb, but I don't think it's going to be a burb. And Vix did dirty, but I can't find anything out of place. I mean, I tried doing that in the other room, too, so... Maybe there's another bed that comes up at some point. Flash my badge real quick. Can I show you this? I'm actually a university student from the Empire of Japan, you see. That means nothing to me. No? Why would it? Mr. Naruhodo, if you're determined to flaunt your Yume badge, at least choose a Japanese person who might recognize it. Mrs. Sato, can I show you this? Maybe later. Oh, I could show Inspector Hosonaga, too. You did already, and he got upset. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary. Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m., what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh! Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? No. I don't know anything. Oh. Miss Pavlova, about this article. Pets the burb. Beep, beep, beep. You look so beautiful, like a fairy. I'm scared if my picture is in the newspapers. You poor girl. She's so young, just 15 years old. For her to have run away all by herself. She must have felt very, very alone. Miss Pavlova, about this article. Did you know about this merciless revolutionary already? No. But when I saw the picture, I couldn't believe it. He looks just like me in my disguise. No, he doesn't. Huh? Am I the only one around here with eyes? The other man, the one wearing the brown, he also said so. Oh, the other man, the one wearing the brown, he also said so. He said we look the same. Yes, he says a lot of things, though. But I have a strong feeling that besides you and the Great Detective, you won't find another soul in this ocean who thinks there's any similarity there at all. Mr. Naruhodo, I won't allow you to speak ill of Mr. Sholmes. No, I wouldn't dream of it. Miss Pavlova, would you take a look at this? I don't know. I don't know anything. Mr. Naruhodo, you're frightening the poor girl. Oh, sorry. I wasn't trying to. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh! That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example? Perhaps people talking? Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest? Perhaps its steam engine exploded? Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Or perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened? Miss Pavlova, is there anything you could tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether or not they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? Novovich Ballet? Yes. I'm traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Novovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water. And we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. Ah, so they were abusive. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes. And the crew of the ship. They have all been kind to me. If they let me come aboard and they said I could hide in this cabin. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? I think it was by order of the country. I don't think it was the company specifically. I think the country ordered her to be in that and abused her as a result. Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Burya stopped by no port last night. Ah, that's it, of course! So how is it, pray, that you came to be aboard? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when he mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. I'm not doing that voice now. God, no. I generally don't read flashbacks anyway. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry? What was that? It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. A Japanese, a detective, a lawyer, and a Russian man ballerina comes to a ship. Sounds like the start of a new joke. Yeah, it's a joke that I don't want to tell the punchline of. And that is how I came here, too. I descended from the heavens, because I am an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes once said, I can never resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement. For the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. Yes, yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board according to the rules of passage. Oh, please, don't tell any of the crew. If they found out my precious... She wanted to escape the hellish heaven, so she descended from the sky. Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. Ah! So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? Is it? It is, isn't it? Maybe an adorable little rabbit? Ha! You cannot Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there, then? You may well ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call. Daily fresh eggs. And when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. Let me just clip that for out of context, Ace Attorney. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. Knock. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Yes, what? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave, now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry about yourself, Mr. Roylott. Get out! The passenger said out, or do you want me to throw you out? Looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. But if it doesn't lock from the outside and they're going to see the captain, what's stopping them from going back in? And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. To be continued. Wow, and that's perfect timing. That's 3 hours into the stream. I'm probably gonna... I'll stop in a couple more minutes. I'm almost at 3 hours. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what the speckled band might be. It's her pet snake. We didn't manage to investigate it all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. Pavlova went to see the captain of the ship. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. I really wish we had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Maybe. You want me to throw you out again, Oh, no. Definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand? Understand. Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san. That door leads to the second class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. That book on top of the table over there is really huge. There's a pen with it, too. Yes, I'm sure that's the ship's log. Shall we take a look through it? We already did. The writing... yeah. Anyway, look here. Last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. What if Inspector Hosanaga's managed to uncover any new clues? Yes, we should probably find him and ask. How do you move in this version? Oh, right. It's a button. We shall never be able to enter the other cabin with Seaman Stroganov in the way. Cabin in the Yesisbury. A famed Russian ballerina Nikolina Pavlova is hiding out in here. She's on the run from her homeland. Looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject. I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Okay, most of these spots are still... well, no, that's new. So this is ventilator joins to Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. She went to see the captain. That's what happened to her. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same thing about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. It's clear these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilt on the floor, and they spell the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelt out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it. This is where Kazuma spent his final moments, writing his diary. Okay, same. We've read this. Looking at his writing here on this page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. Everyone on this crew is Russian. It's not just the buff sailor. We will. All the books provided for the passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yes, and you tidied them up, didn't you? You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. And it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. These are the rules of passage for the travel board. Yeah. We know. By bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. She called it her friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as of yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. A friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. You, where did you go? Oh, sorry. I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I will roll him into a ball and throw him in cold room. Whew, he's gone back to guarding the door. Hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? Everybody gangs until you hear the objection music, yeah. When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. La Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. Oh, Jesus. Ah, you're back. Inspector! What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he pummeled with his fist and then tossed me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. Looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. I love that video. Number 15. Burger King foot lettuce. Oh. Me and my girlfriend do Chills impersonation sometimes when we're in when we're getting food. We went to Burger King and we did the impressions. We were just like, number 15. Burger King foot lettuce. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I'm dumb. I'm dumb for starting that story. I don't know why I can't follow up on it. My girlfriend's way better at it than I am. I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I'm very tired, too, and it's time to stop. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. I don't have it in me to read any more of this. It's time to stop for the night. Burb GF? No, she's a sea monster. Her name is Nessie. Anyway. Alright, I forgot you could just save and quit. So anyway, that was fun. This game is definitely going to take a very long time to stream. Sea Monster and Burb, you ship it. She sinks the ships that I'm on, and then we're together. Excuse me. Anyway, this has been a fun stream. I started late tonight because I had auditions to do. The rest of this week, I'm going to try to do longer streams again. Tomorrow, either Fuga or World Ends With You. Wednesday, whatever, I don't stream tomorrow. Thursday, I might take a day off. And then Friday, I'm going to probably do some other long stream. Maybe I'll do some of this and then something else. And then, this weekend, I might be around. I don't know when and how, but I might. And then we'll see where things go from there. I do have some other stuff to talk about that I haven't easy raid someone. I mean, I only have 3 viewers. I tend not to raid unless it's a decent amount, because otherwise I'm just causing alerts for people that, yeah, you know what, maybe I will raid someone, I don't know. If you want to watch more streams, check out twitch.tv/team/wildabandon. Plenty of other people on my team streaming right now. It's not my team, it's the team I'm part of. Plenty of other people streaming right now. I will go ahead and raid someone from it. And yeah, you all have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.